If I told you that you were born confident, would you believe me? Would you believe that you were born confident? Many people believe that confidence is something that some people have and some people don't have. But I'm going to tell you today, right now, that you and I and everyone listening was born confident. Think about it. Have you ever met a baby that lacks confidence in its abilities to have their needs met by their parents? No. Have you ever met a toddler that, when they're learning how to walk, falls and says that they're a failure and stops walking? No. Young children think nothing of the sort. They simply get up, keep moving. And they go on to walk, but also run and play complex, even competitive sports. So we can see then that confidence is something that we're born with and it develops over time. So, why does this change then? Why can we go from confident to less than confident? Well, there are many factors that could contribute to this. It could be negative experiences like toxic environments or relationships. It could be comparison to others. They do say that comparison is the thief of joy, but it's also a thief of confidence. It could be a lack of recognition, perfectionism, external pressures. Could be burnout or stress, lack of self care, perceived failures, or negative thought patterns. Any of these things can contribute to a diminishing of confidence over time. Now, this is important to keep note of. According to the National Science Foundation, 80% of our thoughts are negative. Here's the important part: 95% of our thoughts are repetitive in nature. This means that not only are we thinking negatively most of the time, but then we're also regurgitating and ruminating and continually repeating these cycles of negativity, increasing the amount of negative thoughts that we have over time. So not only are we thinking negatively, but we're continuing to think negatively. And this is really important because this actually reinforces negative thought patterns in our brains. Now, herein lies a major key to developing confidence and keeping it. It begins with our thoughts and by breaking negative thought patterns and cycles. And I was no exception to this. From my earliest memories in school, I believe is when it started, my thoughts and feelings of lack of self worth started kicking in. While as a child, I was born confident, just like you and just like many of us, all of us, it was through school and home circumstances as well that made my confidence begin to diminish over time. And it started at a very early age. The feelings of "I'm not good enough" consumed me. This thought of "I'm not good enough." Maybe it was a failure on a test. Maybe it was a bully who pushed me in the hallway. Maybe it was someone who copied a test from me. Maybe it was going home and not being recognized for an accomplishment. Maybe it was something else, a friend who belittled me. These negative environments and negative thought patterns continually reinforced a belief system of just that: I'm not good enough. And for years of my life, I felt this way. I felt I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving. And the more you say these things, these, beliefs, the more they become true. And eventually, this led to a cycle that I found almost inescapable because I really did believe it. You see, for years of my life, even into adulthood, I struggled with an immense lack of self confidence. This feeling of I'm not good enough did consume me. It kept me in a cycle of toxic work environments and toxic leadership. And eventually, the people that I was around reinforced these feelings and beliefs in me. And it wasn't until I hit my very lowest point of I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, I don't belong, did I break. Now, a lot of people talk about mental health. A lot of people talk about depression. A lot of people talk about feelings of unworthiness or undeservingness. But what a lot of people don't really discuss is how confidence and thought patterns can play a huge fundamental role in this cycle. And for me, it was this lack of confidence that followed me and started to create these beliefs of I'm not good enough. Now, it didn't matter how much education I had, how many degrees I had, how many accolades I received. The feeling of I'm not good enough remained. It didn't matter that I graduated with an MBA, had certificates from Notre Dame or Cornell. I'm not good enough remained. You see, until we fix the I'm not good enough, until we fix the negative thought patterns and cycles, no amount of external validation actually changes anything because we're always going to be chasing one more. I just need one more degree, one more certification, one more accolade, one more raise, one more promotion, and then I'll be good enough, we think. But after we get that, the next day, how do we feel? We say, what's next? What else do I need to do so that I'm good enough? So if we don't change these negative thought patterns and these negative cycles, the narrative won't change either. And no amount of anything will actually move the needle forward for us and make us feel confident. We have to change and really actively change these negative thought patterns and have a mindset to know that when they surface, that they are in fact not factual. That is very important to remember in your journey of confidence. Negative thought patterns and cycles happen to the very best of us, right? So, in order to break them, we have to have the mindset to know and the responsibility to know that when they surface, we need to reframe them. This is very important because no matter how confident we become, we are all, at the end of the day, imperfect human beings. And there's always going to be negative thought patterns and cycles that come up in our lives. So it's important when they come up that we reframe them with positivity instead of limitation. So instead of saying, for example, I can't do this, I will fail. How about saying something like, I've faced setbacks, but I've also overcome challenges. Mistakes don't define me, and I can learn to grow from them. This is so simple, right? But so many of us don't take the time to reframe. And we've heard this before with money mindset. It's very similar. Instead of saying something like, I can't afford this, reframe it to, how can I afford this? Do you see the difference? One gives you the permission to not go farther. One gives you the permission to not keep trying. One is limiting, the other is expansive. So instead of saying, I can't do that, I'm not confident enough to do that, why don't you start saying, how can I develop the confidence needed to do that? It's such a simple tactic, yet one leads to growth, the other leads to shrinkage. So, in this game of developing confidence, we have to remember this, that confidence is like a sport. Just as when you're a toddler and you're learning how to walk, you learn how to do progressively more intricate movements, progressively harder and more challenging things. This all reinforces confidence over time and makes you more confident. So, in life, regardless of what obstacles we're facing, it's important to reframe our challenges as learning opportunities, not obstacles. So, if you say things like, I'm not as talented or as skilled as others, why should I even try? Reframe it by saying, everyone starts somewhere. With practice and dedication, I can improve my reach and goals. This is the expansive mindset of keeping confidence. Your brain is a supercomputer, and the data you feed it from your thoughts programs your reality. All it takes to change the narrative is a seed of self belief. A single seed is all you need. It can even be a small, unformed seed. But just like a seed, what does a seed require to grow? Well, it requires nurturing. It requires the right environment, right? It requires cultivation. Confidence is no different. And as long as you have a single seed of self belief within you, a single spark that says, I want more out of life, I deserve more, I see myself doing something bigger, then that is all you need in order to gain true confidence and keep it for the rest of your life. But just as a seed, you have to cultivate it and nurture it over time. Otherwise, the confidence will begin to diminish and that seed won't sprout into the plant, the tree, whatever it is that it's supposed to be. So we have the power internally to change this narrative and to become the person that we are meant and supposed to be, the person that we're designed to be. The person that we're designed to be is someone who is confident, someone who goes after their goals unabashed. It's someone who doesn't shy away. It's someone who says, I deserve to be seen, I deserve to be heard. But it starts within us. It starts within us, within our minds, within our thought patterns, because our thoughts become things and they dictate the reality that we experience. So it's so important to think of ourselves as a seed that through cultivation and nurturing and the correct environment, you can absolutely sprout into the person that you're meant and designed to become. But we have to be mindful of our thoughts. We have to guard them at all costs. It's so easy to get burdened down and bogged down with negativity. Negativity is coming at us constantly, all the time. So it's best to reframe our negative thoughts when we have them. And when we catch ourselves ruminating on a negative thought or experience, that we reframe it instantly. We remind ourselves of the things that we've accomplished, and we keep reminding ourselves of what we can accomplish with the right mindset. One of the best ways we can do this is by cultivating gratitude. Nothing makes anything grow more than our thoughts and the cultivation of gratitude. So anytime you feel yourself slipping into a cycle of negativity, reframe it to something positive And remember, your surroundings and your mental environment are the keys to keeping confidence. Thank you so much.